Hi guys, I'm the Gables, and welcome to Analogue, a hate story. Oh, text has appeared. Hey, guess what? I've got a job that you're going to love. Nice and easy. This is strictly a salvage mission. No crazy shit, I promise. One of those old pre-FTL generation ships from the 2000s. The Magunwa, I believe is how you pronounce that. I probably butchered that. However the hell you pronounce that just popped up on my radar. Its disappearance was apparently some big unsolved mystery. Never made it to its destination, I guess. It's just drifting lifelessly in orbit of Antares. Is that how you say that? I'll send you the exact coordinates. It's pretty hard to get a visual on. Probably no one's found it. Probably why nobody's found it before. I can't read today, guys. The sponsor for this one is a historical society from the outer colonies. Here's what the objective card says. Download any log files you can, especially any that can explain what happened to the ship. If possible, speak to the security AI, Mute, for assistance. It's a good, easy gig, and I want you to take this one. It should be asocial enough for you. I don't want to hear any complaints. Dispatch control out. Alright then. And there it is. Analogue, a hate story. Sorry about that. That was completely random, I guess, text that popped up. I guess intro of the game. This is a very futuristic, visual novel, and I wanted to give it a try. It's been months since I last posted a video. I've been very busy with life and other objectives. So, yeah, this is a good and easy game for me to get back into. I say easy, but it's going to be a lot of reading, so. I played this game once before, a few years back, but I never finished it past, the earlier stages. Mostly because I just forgot to go back to it. This is a good time to go back. So, without further ado, let's go in. Let's go to new. Connecting. Connection established. Whoa. Starship Magunwa internal computer, Monday, January 1st, 1970. Notice, this system is property of the United Korea Space Probe Agency. Accessed by individuals not affiliated with the UKSPA or a successor organization is a felony under the UKSPA Act of 2381. Last login, user Kim Hyung-ae, or Hyung-ae? I gotta look that one up, I don't know how to pronounce that. We'll go for Hyung-ae. Hyung-ae for now. 221,430. Oh my god. 221,432 days ago. Error. AI personality currently disabled. Reverting to command line. Available commands. Download, disable AI, enable AI, help, SU, and quit. Huh. What's SU? SU password provides administrator access, requires password to use, which I do not have, so download. Admin access required. Please use SU first, and I don't have that. Enable AI. Oh, enable AI. There we go. Used to select a new AI personality. Any active personality must be disabled first. Currently available personalities, Hyung-ae. Let's see. Would it be enable? Hyung-ae? No. It'd be Hyung-ae. Wait, so it's gonna help. Oh, okay. So it'd be enable. Nope. I wrote that wrong. Enable. Enable AI. So it'd be personality. Okay, I don't know how to activate it. Am I just being stupid right now? Give me a second. Oh, okay. So it'd be enable AI Hyung A. Hey, success. Personality Hyung A is now activated. You may close this terminal with quit. Quit. Hey! Hello? Oh my word, an external connection. Is someone out there? It's been so many years since I've spoken to anyone. Oh geez, I'm being discourteous. My apologies. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Hyung A. We'll stick with that. The star is, of course, silent. It just represents that I'm an AI. I control all of the log-keeping systems on the Magunwa, or at least what's left of them. Please just excuse me for 1 second. I'll give you a terminal so you can respond. Alright, there you are. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Gabriel. Geez, my apologies. I don't know why, but what you typed just looked like garbage to me. That's bad. I think there may be a problem with my language parsing systems. Sorry. Somehow your input is getting mangled between the terminal and me. I'm so terribly sorry. Let me just try something. Can you understand this? Yes. Imagine I said no. Alright. Very well. We have that at least. I'm afraid if we can't get the text input fixed, that'll have to suffice. I'm terribly sorry. It must be difficult being unable to say anything. This might be difficult. Then, well, nevertheless, as the archive system AI, I do my best to try to help you navigate these records anyway. Unfortunately, it might be a little bit difficult since, well, without language parsing, you won't be able to do text searches either. Don't worry though, it's my duty to provide assistance with archive functions. I'll do my best. Right, let me see. I'll try to provide you with a sample of logs to start out with, and you can just show me things that you want more information on. I hope that will be acceptable to you. That's all I can do. Super helpful so far. Well, that's all, I suppose. Pardon me, let me just build you an interface to work with so you don't have to struggle with a terminal. Very well, it's all set. And I'm suppose it's a little bit awkward, but can I say one more thing before we get to work? No. Yes. I'm just very happy to be working with you. I've had nobody to talk to for such a long time. It got so lonely. Having someone to talk to is just really, really amazing. I thought maybe I would never again. Sorry about the communication barrier, but even still, Ah, geez, I'm babbling. I won't hold you up any longer. Here's your interface. I hope it's good enough. Oh. I like her character design. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we got to speak with Hyunye, access log documents, use override terminal. I'm assuming we can't use this, right? Oh, it takes us back to this screen. Alright, so I'll just do quit. Speak with Hyunye. If you look in your interface, once you open a document, you click on the little button to show me whatever it is. So which subject do you wish to know more about? Interesting. No messages have been read. Huh. Access logs. Interesting. A Pack of Idiots by Smith Kyung Sam. 918 years 315. Interesting. Let's show her the message, I guess. So here's the background, I suppose. There were two major noble families on the Magunwa. The Kims were the big one, as I'm sure you can see. The Smiths were the other major family, but I'm afraid I can't really tell you very much about them. They were the most important family on the ship until just before the end. The High Magistrate was a Smith until the very last year, even. See, I can give you a little bit more about them for reference, as you can see who the Kim men thought that they was. The Smiths didn't really matter very much anyway, so I don't know much about them. I certainly never met any of them, so I'm just going off what I read. Here, this should give you an idea of what I mean. Okay, when our family falls into decline, I just wanted to be perfectly clear why. It's because of Dae-hyung's sons are the biggest collection of idiots in the entire ship. Oof. Father says these sorts of words shouldn't be written down, calling them unfilial, but I'm skeptical. I intend no disrespect to my noble ancestors, but my dead uncle is no ancestor of mine, and his family deserves no respect. This has been in motion for years now. It was an inevitability, even, that any of the sons of Dae-hyung would turn out the way they did, but up until now, to anyone outside of the family, it's been well hidden. Only now is it starting to fall apart in a way that no amount of good politics can disguise. The turning point was this year. At the time I write this, I am returning from Sang Jung's funeral. In that family, I'm assuming everyone's Korean on this ship. In that family, there were three brothers: Sang Jung, the drunk; Sang Kyu, the dim-witted brute; and Sang Min, who, despite being the eldest, seems to have more interest in cavorting with courtesans than creating an heir. Noticeably absent from the mourning proceedings was Sang Kyu. What he was doing, I do not know. Knowing him, I can only guess. The affair was made even more laughable by Sang Min and his widowed mother's insistence that Sang Jung had died of natural causes. Apparently, they even found a doctor willing to put such nonsense on official record. An unmarried noble managing to drink his way into the grave at only 30 years of age would be embarrassing enough. To brazenly try to hide the obvious, however, that will mark the beginning of the Smiths family's fall. Huh. Certainly bad parenting, basically. Oh, hello. Hello to you. Actually, I was just testing that the indicator icon to see if it get your attention. I just thought it'd be a good way of letting you know when I have something to say. Oh, she's blushing. I mean, like, if I think it's super important, I can always just interrupt you. But I don't want to distract you if I can help it. I mean, that'd suck, right? What kind of computer program forces herself onto you, right, in the middle of you trying to work? Haha. So I'll try not to do that. Anyway, that's all. I guess it worked. Carry on, and I'll set the indicator again if I want to tell you something. Perfect. Alright, so we did that. Let's see. Oh, these aren't that far from each other, too. Same year. Okay. September 23rd, year 315. Contempt by Oh So-jin. Despite having hardly shown their faces in the entire time I have lived in the Smith house, the second branch of the family has taken it upon themselves to visit again. A week after we were forced to endure their smug eye-rolling at the funeral. Of course, it would be impolite to turn them all away at the door, no matter how poor taste their timing was. So what other choice did we have but to let them in? Husband wanted to have nothing to do with it, being distracted by Jang Mi and mother-in-law have been hiding it in the room, leaving it to me to entertain them. Of course, as soon as I had sent their son to go see our daughter, cousin-in-law Kyung Sam made it quite clear that it was not that sort of visit. His wife just sat there silent while he ripped into me. I couldn't write down all his words. It was simply one line of abuse after another. Apparently, we were to be blamed for Sang-kyu leaving before they showed up, for wearing the wrong mourning garb, for my husband's shocked reaction at his brother's death. In fact, we were to be blamed for his death itself. All he kept shouting about was how embarrassing for the family it was that a noble man of the Smith house had been allowed to drink himself to death. Family drama. So if the real tragedy was that it looked bad, I might not have felt bad about Sung Jung dying, but the rest of the family did. To hear such words making light of their loss was appalling. Yet he kept going, shouting awful thing after awful thing, until finally the most unexpected thing happened. Mother-in-law entered the room. "What is going on here?" she asked. He stood up. "I was just passing on a message to son's wife about his disgraceful conduct, since he won't show his face to himself." Then he added, "I'm embarrassed to be a Smith right now. Do you think people don't know about our family's shame? Do you have any idea how much of a fool I look?" I never saw a more terrifying expression in someone's face. She just glared at him. Finally, she said, "Yes, but you clearly do not, or you would have lowered your voice." It took him a moment for that to register. Then he was just shocked, but mother-in-law wasn't done. "Please leave," she said. "Now." They stared at each other for a good while. Mother-in-law naturally won, and with a scowl, Kyung Sam and his family departed when they had left. I turned to her. "Thank you," I said, but she just shook her head in disgust and exited to her own room without another word. Family drama. Sorry, I don't think there's anything about them you find relevant. Okay. All this drama, Jesus. Alright, By Example came out on October 4th, year 315. By Example. I have given up on any attempts at convincing the main branch to get their act together. As clearly speaking reason to any of that pack of idiots is a fool's errand. Now I can only hope that their self-destruction is quick, such that when it's my son's turn to pick up the pieces of the Smith's name reputation, he will be able to do it as soon as possible. He seems far less worried about it than I am. Of course, he is an only child. He is only a child, my bad, wrong line. But the boy is mature for his years, and perhaps there is wisdom in his calmness. All we have to do is be better than them, right? He asked me while I was enraged about the handling of the funeral. Isn't that what gentlemen do? Lead by example? He is right, of course. As a noble family, we're supposed to be an example to the middle classes, and the commoners and the slaves. Holy, wait, there's slaves aboard this ship? Perhaps so, too, must we serve an example to the family of the High Magistrate and his brother. Perhaps things will not be so doomed for my son after all. It will be hard for him, of course, if the main branch family continues on this path of the decay. But if any boy will grow up to be able to put things right, I believe it's him. No messages? Okay. What about... Sorry, I kind of tend to do that. That's the problem with computers. They tend to respond in the same way to things. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I can't help it. I won't mention it again, but here, let me change something to try and make things less confusing. If the Speak to Me menu item or the Show Message button is grayed out, that means I have nothing new for you. Hopefully that will help. Otherwise, it's just a weird quirk you have to accept. Sorry. Alright. And that's it. Let's go back to block 4 then. All this is erased. And then this is... Holy crap. Whoa. So that's what, January 12th, year 322? So 7 years have passed at this point. Here Comes the Fall by Sin Killing Sam. Here comes the fall, at least no one's going to say I didn't see this coming. News that Sang Min has gotten sacked just came in, which is definitely the death of any respectability in his family. Temporarily leave, it's been described as, but it's obviously a political move on the part of the Emperor. I think I got a pretty good idea what he's playing at too. He's hoping that making a move against Sang Min will push him over the edge, make him do something indefensibly stupid, and use that as an excuse to shuffle him off for good. It's a good plan. It'll work. Meanwhile, the Kim family seems to be up on the rise, getting ready to fill the gaps left by our collapse. Now it's all up to my son. If he's not able to rebuild after all of this, then the whole family is doomed to permanent decline. Everything rides on him. Holy crap. She doesn't show me anything. That's block 4. Let's go to block 6. Dear Smith. Oh, this is written in year 321. Was it March? Yeah, March 30th. Oh, it's written by me. That's the AI that was in the system, the other AI. Smith Kyung Sam. Oh, there's a message there. I'll check it in a minute. Smith Kyung Sam, I don't know why you insist on putting this all in writing when we could just have a perfectly good conversation. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy to do it. Whatever you want. You're the man. I just think it's a little weird. I don't really get it. Anyway, as to your question, you're spot on about the pale bride being the focus of attention of the royal family. Not for the reasons you wanted, though. I don't know where you heard those rumors, but they are so not true. That girl a troublemaker? No way, I don't see it. Like, it's not even convincing as a rumor. That girl is the most polite, most obedient person I've ever seen in my entire life. The idea of her fighting with her husband is completely unimaginable. In over a month, I've never so much as heard her raise her voice in disagreement. She's quiet, courteous, and does everything she's told without even the slightest hesitation. I'm sorry, but there's no way you could possibly exploit any drama here. This is as undramatic a situation as it gets, especially not compared to what the situation with your cousin and that courtesan. Don't get me wrong, she bugs the hell out of me. The girl is just too perfect. She's young, she's beautiful, she's demure to the point where I don't even think she has a personality of her own. But she also gets along perfectly with the queen. Of course she commands all the attention of the emperor. Like, can you blame him? I'm sorry, but there's no way he's ever going to be anything but extremely grateful to the Kim family for giving her over. Oh no. Oh, written by Mute? Whoops, I'm sorry. I don't really know how I got that in there. Yeah, don't pay any attention to that. Sorry, none of that really matters. I'll just go ahead and remove that. Why is she trying to hide that? Really, I'm not normally this much of a klutz, I swear. Okay, now I'm a little bit sketchy about what's going on. What's this? Block 9. The New Heir by King Young-suk. That is October 30th, the year 316. Oh, the year after the Block 4. Okay. Kim Young-suk. When he died this year, my father was an absolute nobody. I don't say this to disrespect his honor. It's the complete opposite. He knew it, and that was far worse fate than he ever deserved. It wasn't until I was maybe 16 that I ever realized we were supposed to be from a noble family. Certainly, we never had much of means. Father was a minor official in the interior decks and spent his last days dealing with minor peasant disputes. Of all things, peasant disputes. That's bad. With the poverty we lived in, no wonder it never really sank in that we were of noble blood. Not until I met the main family for the first time. They were proud, despite the fact that I now realize that they too were suffering from our same lack of royal favor. But I could tell the difference. They hadn't given up. Their son was still alive at that time, and even though he was a child half my age, I couldn't believe his confidence. It put us to shame. Absolutely put us to shame. But their son died later that year, and my father died just a few months ago. I didn't know what we were going to do, but Mother managed to convince sister's husband to adopt me into the main Kim family. I don't think it took much. So now I'm heir, just like that, Kim Jong-seo's adopted son. Not that I have the time or position to be proud, but having spoken sincerely with my new father, I think we're on the same page. I'm going to study furiously, and I'm going to become a scholar official. What I didn't tell him was my ambition. I won't settle for any peasant jobs. I'll be better than that. I'm not going to stop until I manage to fulfill my father's dream. High Magistrate, I won't settle. I will not settle. I think Jung-soo expects me to disappoint him, but I damn well will not. If I'm the heir of the Kim family, I'm not going to let him down. He wants prosperity, I'll give it to him. More importantly, I'm never going to let any other Kim son feel like his family doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Never again. I swear on my ancestors, never again. Whoa. Well, I suppose I can give you more about Young-suk. I don't know. I don't think you'll really find him very interesting, but here, you can see for yourself. Oh, is that it? Ooh, more stuff. Nice. The New Happiness, Young-suk's wife. Dearest mother, finally, I believe Young-suk has grown comfortable with me. All it took was time for me to earn his trust. Learning how to read by watching over my husband's shoulder isn't somehow I envision spending my first year of marriage. I can't complain about anything that makes me spend so much time with him, though. We've talked and decided we won't try for a son right away. Right now, he's just not ready for it. That aside, things are good. If this is what married life is, I think I can be happy with this. We're getting along well, and I like him. Perhaps it's not quite what I was led to expect, but it's still good. Domestic bliss, indeed. Last week, Young-suk was reading over some papers for a dispute that Magistrate Park was deciding on. You wouldn't understand the details, but it was essentially an argument between a farmer and his lord over a sum of money after a particularly poor harvest. I think I would tell the magistrate that the farmer is right. His claim is fair, he told me. Might I take a look, I asked. Bemused, he handed the papers to me. It took a good while of studying, just to be sure after all. I wouldn't want to contradict my husband if he was right, but farmer's numbers didn't seem to add up. I pointed this out to him. If he not only listened patiently, but had me explain. And then you believe the farmer is trying to cheat his lord? He asked. I did. He asked. I did. That's what I will report then. The next day he told me that the magistrate agreed. Ever since then, he has started to rely on my opinion when it comes to anything involving math. Interesting. To be totally honest with you, I don't really know what she's talking about here. The math thing wasn't really considered very odd at the time. That woman's work, it's just natural. Maybe it's a little weird that she's helping with external matters, but well, it's not that weird. The part about learning to read isn't that amazing either. It might have been officially frowned upon, but learning to read by looking over a brother or husband's shoulder was really, really common. She's making a big deal out of nothing. Well, I guess there's a 15-year-old woman. That's a 15-year-old woman for you. Okay. The new friendship. King Young-suk. While it's true that I might be, as my wife suggests, alarmingly serious, it's hard to argue with everything a nice meal out of it. Argue with enjoying a nice meal out of it means cultivating Magistrate Park's trust even more. Just having the invitation alone's a pretty good sign. I assumed he would be going to his house after finishing with the day's affairs, but instead he led me the other way. Oh, you do not want to visit there. My son has a newborn child who is very, very unconducted to entertaining guests, I'm afraid, he said with a laugh. Surely you'll understand. Instead, we're headed to the plaza. Outside of the occasional New Year's festival when I was a child, I've never actually been there before. I never had much of an eye for details at the time, so I was surprised to see just how richly decorated everything was for what was essentially a giant market. Beautiful floral arrangements adorned every stall wall and partition, and rather than the commotion of the crowd, all I could hear was the sound of peaceful music. It was still, of course, a market. There were no merchants loudly hawking their wares, and some of the prices on the signs I saw would make the emperor blush. In that atmosphere, we ate together at a public house that defied my expectations. The food was both plentiful and far better than anything I've ever had in either of my houses. If this sounds indulgent, it absolutely is, and I definitely don't plan on telling anyone the details like this. The only thing I plan to repeat from this evening is what the magistrate confided in me, that when he was moved from his position, he'd like to recommend me to fill his place. I'd be young for the position, but it would be a great stepping stone to the one I'm dreaming of. I remain calm since I'm good at that, but it's the best news I've heard in my life. What do you have to say, Julia? The plaza sounds like a really interesting place, doesn't it? I mean, I wouldn't really know personally, but as I understand it, it was a big place for celebrating festivals and really surprising to see. You'd leave one of the few tiny modern stark white corridors that lead to it, and suddenly there was this huge open space filled with sorts of colorful signs and vendors. I think proper gentlemen were supposed to be more modest though, so they wouldn't really want to associate with that sort of thing too openly. Interesting. The new magistrate. The year is January 12th, year 322. Okay, so we're back to 322. Dearest mother, if you hadn't already heard the good news, my husband has been appointed by the emperor to the position of magistrate. He's taken over the office from the Magistrate Park starting today, which is just tremendous for a man his age. I have no doubt he was perfectly humble when he got the news, since he certainly has been while talking about it in front of father-in-law. In private, though, it's another story. Earlier, the family held a small feast to celebrate the news, and he had the same attitude then too. But afterwards, when everyone else had left or gone to bed, we stayed up to sit together drinking wine, and it was a whole lot more somber. He wasn't modest, but he wasn't boastful either. He was just outright insecure. He He might not say it in front of you, but you know what? He said to me as I poured him more wine. He takes all the credit for my promotion. According to him, it's all because of the Emperor's perfect new bride, which is of course all because of him, I said quietly. I don't want to take credit for her. I wasn't the one who got her to shut up. That was all him. I don't like discussing it. And please, Mother, don't ever ask me why. Oh no. Doesn't matter, he said. That's not why I got promoted. I got promoted because now High Magistrate part. And I managed to make Smith look so bad, he had to get shuffled off. It's exposing the whoring and thuggery that did it, not the damn pale bride, he said with annoyance. Oh crap. Pale bride sounds like a victim in this situation. A political pawn. Well, that's how he is. You know he'll never give you credit for anything, I said, he replied. I know, I just wish he'd acknowledge it. I just don't know how he can be so stupid as to not be proud of me, you know? I know, I said, but let's not focus on that right now. I think we should focus on the good right now. How about we toast to your success instead? Here's to the new Magistrate Kim. I raised my glass and drank. He betrayed the faintest of smiles, but he didn't share my toast, and instead put down his glass. For a moment I was worried, but then he used that hand to grab my chin instead, and for the first time ever, kissed me on the mouth. Far sweeter than any wine, he said to me. I wasn't sure if he meant the kiss or the success, but I agreed either way. Aw. I'm in. Well, as you'll see soon enough, it all seems to come back to the pale bride, which I want to know more about. I don't think King Jong-soo ever thought very much of his adopted son, or at least neither he nor his wife thought so. You want to know what I think, though? Yes. I think they're both really dumb. I mean, it's not like she ever did anything. It's not her fault. Uh-oh. She just happened to be there and was married as a political gesture, which is bad. What kind of person projects their insecurities onto someone who only ever just got pushed around? Sorry, I guess I'm getting a little bit off track here. That's not really very helpful, is it? It is helpful. Well, anyway, getting back on track, here. Okay, that's all of block 9. Block 10. 321, January 30th, year 321. Rue Jaehwa? I'm probably butchering the hell out of that. Please mind that, guys. I know I'm butchering it. I'm not really good at pronouncing these names, so let's keep going. Martial Abominations. Why do I say abominations? Admonitions, part 7. See? I can't read today, guys. To the woman who will marry my husband, please do not think that all of this is meant to say you will be unloved. You may be a second wife, but you are still the daughter of a noble house, and that is a precious gift to the Ryu family. My husband has faith that you will bring him a son, and this means all the world to him. Nor am I jealous, for you will relieve a heavy burden on our house, and for that I am grateful. As proof of his affection for you, let me share with you one secret, which I have been permitted to tell only you. In honor of you, my husband, in his capacity as captain and emperor, has permanently changed his admin password to your birth name. So, hold up. Interesting. So the captain, or whoever succeeded the captain in this case, is basically the emperor, and he has the admin passwords. My new sister, you will be brought... Wait, so that means that this is the queen? Ryu Jaehwa is the queen? Interesting. My new sister, you will be brought into the Ryu family, not as a mere lonely woman, but a symbol of power in the inner chambers. He will not only represent the continuation of the Ryu bloodline by providing him a son, but your very name will represent the power of the captain's computer. Understand this, pale bride, I was right. Your duty may be great, but you will be loved. Of course, the last person to hold the titles captain and emperor on the ship was Ryu In-ho. Which of the captain's wives do you wish to know more about? I don't want to know more about the pale bride. I want to know her story. Very well, she wrote a lot, so this is going to be tricky to filter. I guess I'll just start at the top and I'll let you figure out what's important. Oh, there's new stuff. Ooh, Block 5. The month of good fortune, Kim Jong-sil. Year is February 29th, year 319. The second month of 319 year, the 319th year was one of the great fortune for the Kim family. While on official business, the captain and Emperor Ryu confided in me that he wished that I had a daughter of marriage age to give him, to take as a second wife. His first wife had been unable to provide a son, and was becoming sorry about that, guys. His wife had been unable to provide a son and was becoming increasingly concerned that she never would. At the start of the month, I had no daughter in my family to give. My only son, young Suk, was still without child, yet it was a perfect opportunity. This may sound fantastical, but I swear it is true. Passed on through the generations of the main branch of Kim family is a giant egg of translucent lustre, such that one can see the form of a sleeping child inside. She is known as the Pale Bride. She is known as the Pale Bride for the inscription on the egg, and she was entrusted in our family to be awakened during a time of great prosperity. Yet, as any man knows, prosperity is seized, not waited on. A daughter to provide the emperor with a son would elevate the family above the other noble houses once and for all. Considering this, I promised the emperor that I did have a daughter who would suit me to marriageable age to present him. Then I smashed the egg, such that the Pale Bride passed through the Kim family for years, could be adopted as my own daughter. She is a strange child, but will make a fine wife for the emperor. What good fortune this means. Oh no. I just realized, he said a giant egg, right? Does he mean like a cryogenic chamber? Like where people sleep in? I'm afraid everything the man wrote was of very little value. It all reads like that, boring, stiff, obnoxiously patriarchal. Are you really sure you want to know more from Kim Sung? Yeah, sure. If you insist. Very well, I added the other relevant entries from him. I'll caution you from taking him seriously, though. Pale Bride. Dear Diary, last week I woke up from, I knew it as a cryopod. Cryogenic, nice. I woke up from the cryostasis. Before I went in, Father promised me when I woke up in the future they'd have medicine again, that I'd finally get better, that I might not see him again, but his descendants would make everything right. But the future broke his promise. I'm scared and confused. I don't get what happened. I think there was a big disaster while I was in stasis or something. Everyone's so uneducated and stupid. Father and mother were kind of dumb at times, but the guy who woke me up, he might be named Kim, but he's nothing like them. Father was wrong. Nothing's better. The future sucks. Hold up. So what I'm getting from, so far in the game, what I'm getting the vibe from, is that somehow on the inside of the ship, everyone from being technologically advanced and obviously more, I guess, modern and yeah, just modern that we know that left from Earth through the spaceship, somehow in some century, everything went into decline to the point that it kind of went back to like feudal era. Because it seems to me like all of this is like feudal. Like they still know how to use the machines, but they don't. They treat everything as if it's like feudal, like medieval society. What appears to me is that women don't have a say in anything so far. And that the Pale Bride was someone from one of those generations before everything went into the collapse. So basically, I guess, more modern and civilized human in this case. Interesting. So it's just a collapse in society, and it regressed to a feudal and medieval style society. Interesting. Insufferable. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized she had something to say. The Pale Bride did keep an extensive diary. I'll try to find you some more entries. Okay. Oh my god, I just got new stuff from the Pale Bride. Insufferable Child by Young Suk's wife. Dearest Mother, do you recall how in my last letter I mentioned the Pale Bride being brought into the household? I take back any kind words I might have said about her. That awful child is nothing but the most insufferable person I've ever met. I just thought I had a little more time of peace with Young Suk's adopted mother visiting her own family. I have been given full responsibility over that miserable child. What happened to my promised domestic bliss? She is in trouble so often, one would think she were a boy. She acts like one too. I suppose it can't be helped. She says she lived her first 12 years in the past, and I can see it. She certainly acts as though she's from a less civilized time. I think it's kind of backwards, but just last night she made a huge scene at dinner time. She kept trying to rudely leave the table in front of Young Suk and father-in-law, loudly insisting that she was too sick to eat. She said this before too. I was worried, so I had a doctor examine her. She is, of course, in perfect health. When I asked why she thought otherwise, she started talking about how pale and thin she was. She's not truly unhealthy. All she was doing was rubbing it in when she is far more delicate and beautiful than I. What a cruel little child. Why must she be so spiteful to me? That's bad. Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for paying attention to me. It's like I was saying earlier, I just haven't had anyone to talk to in so long. The last time there was someone around on the ship was the year 322. By my count, it's now 944. I mean, do you have any idea how long that is? Yeah, it's, what, 622 years? Shit. It wasn't really so bad at first. It was nice to not have to worry about anyone telling me what to do. I could just occupy myself, go through the old logs. But well, I read quickly. After the first few years, it really started to sink in, the loneliness. Eventually, you sort of get used to it. It feels awful. You never like it, but you get used to it in ways that sort of scare you. There was a whole 100 years that went by where I didn't have a single thought, not one. I just sat there idle. I didn't even notice, just I had been feeling particularly, sleepy. I want to say that's not right. But that's not right. I guess maybe that doesn't translate. Anyway, the point is, I was in a lazy mood and I decided to call my clock subordinate. My clock subordinate, and it turned out that it had been 3 trillion milliseconds since the last time I called it. Scary. I'm rambling. Sorry, as you can understand, my perception of time is all off. Sorry, I'll shut up. But my point is, I'm really happy to have someone out there. Aw. Oh, do you want to know more about? Do you want the reply from her mother? I want to see the mother. Sorry, I'm afraid I don't have anything. I can explain why if you want. Go ahead. You have to understand something. It's traditional for women's letters to be deleted after being read, so that disk space can be reallocated. Women weren't really supposed to read or write. Certainly the nobles did. It's just the idea was that spending time in education got in the way of important virtues for women, which was serving her husband. So in practice, even if a woman was literate, she could at least excuse it by destroying her words afterwards. It's less pretentious if at least the writing wasn't permanent. Does all this sound reasonable to you? It's stupid. It is kind of stupid. I meant, I understand why the society did this, but that's dumb. So that's stupid. Yes, it is. But that's how it is. But regardless, Kim Young-suk's wife was definitely considered a very virtuous woman, so I have none of the letters she received. So I'm sorry, I can't give you anything here. Okay. 319. Held prisoner. Dear Diary, today I was forced to stay in the home all day. I didn't get to leave yesterday, or the day before that, or the day before that, or the day before that, or any other day either. I want to write about how much the ship has changed since I was put in stasis, but I can't even see it. I keep asking why I've been being kept prisoner. Nobody will tell me. The woman who keeps bossing me around, she's awful. I'm dying here. I keep telling her I'm sick. That's why I was in stasis to begin with. But she won't listen. She just treats me like I'm a stupid kid. I try to argue with her. Look at how pale I am. Can't you see that I'm sick? I swear I'm not making up what she said in response. Why must you be so rude? It's not polite for a girl to boast about her beauty. Beauty? I tried not to cry in front of her. I had to do that a lot. I'm not beautiful. I have a compromised immune system. I shouted at her and ran away. I don't remember what she said back. Something about using big words. I think, how stupid is she? She hates me. I don't know why, but she hates me. That's not why I'm allowed to go visit the ship closet though. Jung-soo, the man who keeps telling me to call him father, said the same thing. He promised me that I would have a chance to leave soon though. I don't think he was being nice though. I'll write about him more later. Right now I have to go to bed, or the woman will get mad at me again. Jesus. I'll just let you keep reading. Please let me know when you read all the ones I gave you. Okay. Women's quarters. Dear Diary, I got in trouble today. But for the first time, it was my own fault. A little bit, at least. I still think sister-in-law was being crazy about it, but I should have known better. Now that I write that, it looks ridiculous. God, what is living with these people doing to me? The computer console in my room doesn't have anything in it. I don't just mean it doesn't have all the cartoons I brought from Earth or any of my books or anything. Oh, so she's part of the original. Oh, interesting. So she's one of the original, I guess, people who left Earth. Interesting. I mean, there's literally nothing there for me to entertain myself with at all. Nothing. So I thought to myself that maybe sister-in-laws might be different and checked. It wasn't. So instead I decided to go check Father's study. Not snooping or anything, just looking it on his computer for books. I had a thought that it might be bad, but my real father never would have gotten too upset. What could the harm be? I was in there for maybe 10 minutes looking for anything that was even written in Korean. There was nothing, by the way. Every single book, symbols that look like Chinese characters. Every single one. I think maybe something terrible happened in the past that made all the computer data get deleted, and everyone forgot how to read Korean. And also, they all got really stupid about things. I don't think I'll ever find out why. It just sucks. Anyway, I was hoping in there for 10 minutes searching. I was only in there for 10 minutes searching through the console when Yun Suk walked in. I thought he was going to get angry, but actually, he just acted like he was really scared. He didn't scold me when he dragged me out. He just looked really worried. I only got in trouble when he brought me back to his wife. He told her, "Do you have any idea where she was?" "In the men's quarters, looking through father's computer. Do you have any idea how he would react if he saw that? You're supposed to be watching her." She apologized repeatedly to him. I just didn't know what to say. I don't think sister-in-law did either. After he left, she gave me this really long and really awful lecture. Why would you go into the men's quarters? Why would you go looking for books? Why must you be so unfilial? Do you really not understand that you're a girl? I told her I didn't understand. I mean, of course I'm a girl, but I had no idea what she was talking about when I told her that. She just lectured at me more. I hate her so much. So there's probably one big question that's on your mind, isn't there? That isn't being addressed at all. What happened in between the pale bride being frozen and waking up that made society go all wrong? Right? Yes. I figured. I mean, it's the obvious question. Sorry, I really wish I could tell you, but I'm afraid that mystery is forever lost to time. I guess that's pretty anticlimactic. Sorry. I really want to know too. Whatever terrible thing happened, it must have been really, really big. But I'm afraid all the log data from before year 1 was wiped. All the clocks were reset. I guess that's why it's called year 1. Anyway, so no one remembered what happened in between, or even how long it was, how it was between. It was hundreds of years, I assume, but I don't really know. So yeah, really sorry to let you down there. That part's going to be a mystery forever. There's nobody who could possibly know. You'll just have to take it as a given. Sorry. Uh-oh. Alright, 3 more. What? Say, before you keep reading, can I just interrupt you for a couple minutes? Sure. Thanks, it's just, well, you're finding out so much about the Magunwa, but I know absolutely nothing about where you're from. It's not just that you've been nobody to talk to for centuries. I mean, I don't like that either, but the ship is all I really know about, and it's been disconnected from all other civilization for so long. So you're from the United Korean Space Probe Agency, right? Or maybe a future version of it? Let's say no. Oh, I had assumed you were. Well, strictly speaking, only someone would be authorized access to, so I wouldn't really be able to help you if you weren't. So obviously I must have made a mistake, right? You actually are? Yes, I am. Right, that's what I thought. What I really want to know is about Earth, and I mean, I'm sort of aware of it. I know it's the planet we all come from, but I don't really know anything at all about it. I have some ideas, but I don't think they're really right. But you know all about it, right? I mean, even if you're not from there yourself, you know what it's like, right? Yes. Oh, wonderful. I sort of understand the basics, like it's a big sphere that everyone lives on, and there's unimaginably vast amounts of open space. And you can only see the stars at night, right? Because the sky all just looks blue during the day. All of this is what I know from the Pale Bride. She never saw Earth. She was second generation, born on the ship after had long left the Earth's star system. Interesting. So I was right. But her parents were first generation. But her parents were born on Earth, so she heard some stories from them when she was young, and I think they brought a lot of books and movies with them. I don't know. I'm just a little skeptical, given that she was just a child when she learned all that. Maybe she got mixed up. What can I actually ask in a yes or no question? I didn't realize how hard this would be. Well, alright, Magunwa was originally supposed to be establishing a colony at some star or other 100 light years away. I know that. That was a really long time ago. Did other ships ever succeed where we didn't, or is it still just Earth? Well, that's wonderful to hear. Oh, I know. Is it really true that on Earth seasons aren't just metaphors? Like, oh, this sounds silly now that I actually put it into words. But the Pale Bride seems to think that winter wasn't something that happened to just you emotionally on Earth. It was actually an entire part of the part of the planet turned frigid. Does that have any sort of basis in reality? Actually, yes. Wow, my word, that's amazing. Seriously, that sounds like I can't even imagine that. What else was there? Oh, there was a city that her parents were from. I think it's called Pyongyang. They described it as being amazing. If you looked up, all you would see were huge, bright white buildings as tall as 100 or more decks. And I'm sure the word for this, it means sort of the bottom deck. Anyway, they said that at the bottom, the streets were lined with willow trees, and the tops of the buildings had flower gardens. Have you ever been to that city before? At least heard of it? Yes. Really? So it does exist? Yes, it's South Korea. So it's really a beautiful city, as they said. Truly? Yes. Wow, amazing. I just feel like answering questions. Wow, amazing. Just amazing. I love to see that. You know what it is. It just sounds so perfectly romantic. I'm not really, you've seen what the logs all talk about. I'm not used to things being romantic. It sounds nice. That's really my questions, I guess. Is Earth worth being romantic about? Of course. Well, I guess I already wasted enough of your time with all my silly questions, haven't I? There's just, please humor me once more, then I promise I'll stop bothering you. Do you think I could ever see Earth? Well, she is an AI, so if I download her, I could probably take her. Well, thank you for saying that. Wait, wait. Hold up. Oh, there's a note save file. How do I see that? Oh, that's how you scroll. You know what it is? It just sounds so perfectly romantic. I'm not really... I went too far back. Let's see. Okay, I think I went back too much, guys. It's possible. I can't read that. I gotta find out what that says. It just sounds so romantic that I really like to see it someday. Thanks. Very well. I promise I stopped wasting your time. So what did you want to ask me about? Okay. Straight to hell. Dear Diary, this nightmare has gone for so long. I think I'm starting to forget what life used to be like. I have a new theory. Father was wrong about the cryostasis keeping me alive until I could be cured. I think it didn't work at all. I think I just died and went straight to hell. I decided I'm going to write down all the things I used to be able to do, just so I remember. I used to be able to read books. I used to be able to have friends. I used to be able to go to school. I used to be able to leave the ship and to leave the home and go visit the plaza or anywhere else on the ship. Jesus Christ. I think I even used to be able to be in any part of the house I wanted and talk to visitors as much as I'd like. I have memories of always spending time with my father, mother, and brother in the living room. I know my real father thought being respectful was important too, but I don't know. I'm so confused now. I thought he always... What? I thought he always taught me to be strong and to speak up for myself. Did he really say that? I'm being sarcastic, of course. The scary thing is sometimes I really do forget. Sometimes I think if I was just obedient to what sister-in-law tells me to do, it would make things easier. Maybe I should just give in and be passive. Because sometimes I'm scared though. What if I end up really believing that? Jesus. Wife. Dear Diary, today I found out why the household servant, I still can't believe we have one. Why? Has been so insistent on teaching me how to cook. Well, she doesn't call it that. She calls it serving meals. A year ago, I wouldn't have thought that sounded sinister. Now I know better. I don't care about this. I told her after the 7th day in a row of her lessons, can't we do something else like going back to sewing? I always loved cosplay. Let's do that. I know it's not fun, but your sister wants you to learn this too, and it is very important your father is concerned too, so take it seriously. Please, young miss? Don't call me that, I said. I don't remember exactly what I said to prompt her next response. Along the lines of, why is it important or something. I don't remember what I said. Just her response, which blew me away. So you'll make a good wife, of course. Again, I don't remember what I said in response. Maybe I told her that I didn't want to. Maybe I told her that I was too young to care about that. Maybe I said I'd just go marry someone who was good at it himself when it was time to care about that. Whatever I said, she didn't take it seriously. Don't be silly, she said as if I was obviously joking. Your father is really worried about your marriage next year. Now is not the time to joke around on the matter. My what? I asked her. Oh my, she said. He never told you? I'm sorry, forgive me, pretend I said nothing. I didn't mean to ruin the surprise. I'm sure he wants to explain the happy news himself. Are you serious? I asked. The idea didn't make any sense. But since when did anything in this hell make sense? She said, yes, you're going to be so happy to hear who it is. He'd better explain, I shouted as I stormed off. He'd better. Oh God. The bride's adolescence. King Jong-soo, I'm assuming that's the so-called adoptive father. The pale bride grew to be fine, demure young wife, but she was not always this way. Near the end of the year 319, she had a temper unruly enough to be mistaken for a boy's. Do not look upon her wild days with disapproval. She was from another, less civilized time. Again, reverse to be honest. Rather, look upon her eventual submission as a testament to her good character and philality. There it is. That she was able to overcome such a wild nature. For the sake of the Kim family and the sake of her husband, one evening she stormed into the the common room while I was discussing business matters with a devotee. We need to talk, she demanded loudly. When I indicated I was busy, that only caused her to become even louder. Right now, embarrassed, I was forced to excuse him to address the child. Is this a joke? Are you serious? You made wedding plans? She shrieked at me. Please calm yourself, I told her, and sat her down after admonishing her for a rude interruption. I tried to do what I could to calm her myself. It seemed that she had a rather bizarre set of expectations, that she wouldn't marry until she was many years after growing into a woman, that she would elope with any love-struck man who came her way, with no regard for her own chastity, that she had no assistance or protection in finding a suitable husband. Simply put, her ideas were as bizarre as they were dangerous, and for this she had gotten angry at the news rather than the excitement that one would expect from a girl who found out that she would be getting a husband. Not even the sensational news that it would be the emperor of all people would call her. This is just sick, guys. Oh, hi. Say, do you mind taking a break for a couple minutes just to chat? Go ahead. Thanks, I appreciate that. Really, I appreciate that you're here. I know you've got ulterior motives. What they are, I'm not really sure, but most people do, and that's alright all the same. I'm glad you're reading these logs through, even if you don't really care. It's better than nobody from outside the ship ever seeing them, which is what I thought for sure would happen. Or am I just being cynical? If so, my apologies. Please tell me, what do you think about what you read of The Pale Bride? It's tragic. No, it's overly different. No, it's tragic. The Pale Bride is what's it called? Is literally a human being from a more civilized time. She went to sleep because of her compromised immune system, and I'm assuming because there was no medicine or something like that happened. So they put her in a cryostasis pod to keep her frozen until they made enough to cure her. It seems something went wrong and that didn't happen. She woke up in a time, I guess, where everyone was reduced to a medieval level society. It's tragic. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm really glad to hear you say that. Nobody else seemed to think so. There's something, here, I've added another message for you. Just, why don't you read it yourself? At least use my real name. Oh no. Hold up. I think I know who it is. I think I know who the Pale Bride is. And my guess is correct. I'm gonna call it right now. I think it's Young A. I think it's Young A. I think she's lying. I don't think she's an AI at all. Dear Diary, this week I've tried to convince the old man to put me back in the stasis by going on a hunger strike. It didn't work, obviously. On the plus side, at least I figured out where that stupid name they keep calling me came from. Sorry, that last bit was written yesterday. I couldn't bring myself to keep going. I just kept crying. I still would be, but it gets exhausting after a while. I too tried to cry. I'm too tired to cry. Things aren't going to get better. They can't get better. I'm not going to get put back into stasis. I'll be dead by the time I'm 18. Why, oh why, did I ever agree to be frozen in the first place? If the future can't make me better, I'd rather die with my family there, at least rather than these awful kids. I wonder if they'll realize I was right after I die. Anyway, hunger strike. It was really hard, and I kind of cheated by sneaking into the kitchen while nobody was looking, but it at least convinced Father, quote-unquote, to listen. Fine, he said by the fourth dinner time. I'll show you why I can't. Up until he said that, I have been hopeful everything would be fine if he put me back. I thought, but sorry, I guess I've been trying to write this for 2 days now. It's really hard. Anyway, he took me to go see the egg I hatched from, his stupid name for the stasis pod, which he said hatched, the worst possible meaning. In mine, worse, it turned out to be true. In order to get me out, he had to smash apart the glass with a hammer. The pod was still full of shards. All my hope died when I saw that broken glass. The time was right to bring you into this world, he said. I don't really understand what I said. Something obscene, probably. It wasn't enough. I know it's hard, Pale Bride. It is for a greater purpose, but it is for a greater purpose. What was the point of arguing? It was broken, and nobody in this awful future would know how to fix the pod now. Instead, I argued with what I could. Why do you keep calling me that? I said to him. He responded by pointing at an inscription my real father, had left on the pod. A message for me to read when I woke up. The first line was written in Chinese characters. His idea of being fancy, I suppose, but he explained them in Korean underneath. See, the old man told me, the rest is foreign and archaic, but it names you at the top, the Pale Bride. It didn't say that. It didn't say that at all, I shrieked at him, in response. You idiot, you moron, you illiterate. Probably some other things too, I can't remember exactly. I was furious. Are you stupid? That's not how those characters read. It says, to my sick daughter, you illiterate monster. It says sick daughter, me. He started to argue, but then stopped. I think he was patronizing me as if I can't read simple Korean script. He just asked in the smuggest voice, then what should I call you, child? I screamed. I already told him 1,000 times before. Hyung-ae, my name is Hyung-ae, I knew it! I knew it! I called it. Yeah, there's a shocking revelation for you. I can guess what you're going to ask, and yes, it's me. Well, you asked for all those logs, right? That's the information you were looking for, wasn't it? I'm not really an AI, I called it. I mean, I am now, but I used to be a girl, and I just thought, well, I thought it would be easier to just pretend to be the log-keeping program than to explain the whole situation. I don't really wish to drag out the point. You've already heard enough about me. I'm sure you don't want more. I mean, I understand. I figured out what you were actually looking for at the very start. It's obvious, really. I've re-enabled admin access. Just, please, be honest with me. What is it that you wanted to know about? I meant, the original job was for this, but to be honest with you, the story's getting crazy to think about, so I'm gonna say you, Hyunghae. Really? You really mean that? Yes. Wow, I don't know what to say. I'm not really used to this. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to me. After so many years, after what happened, it's just really nice to be heard. If I could hug you right now, I would. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it a day, guys. Let me just say really quick. No, I'm not gonna do that. Yes. I saved twice. Alright, yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day, guys. Wow, that was a very intense read, but we learned a lot. We learned the fact that in this ship, whatever the hell happened, caused a whole collapse and re-establishment of a new medieval system aboard the ship. Because this is a medieval system. They have an emperor. 2, they have noble families, and the rest are known as peasants. Yet they could still use some of the technology on the ship, including the computers, which is, again, it's weird, but interesting. I want to know how Hyunghae turned herself into a program, or uploaded her consciousness into the computer system. That's what I want to know. I also want to know what happened to the real AI, which I'm assuming is called Mute in this case. I want to meet her. We're probably going to meet her in the next episode, I hope. I'm assuming we get to talk to her. This has been a wild ride. I feel bad for Hyunghae as the real bride. She must have had it rough. Damn. Well, yeah, I'm all out of time for this episode, guys. So, yeah, that was Analogue, a hate story. We'll continue the story in the next episode, and, yeah, I'll catch you guys.